través de las aguas de la playa La Joya, California. Las olas eran retorcidas y el barco se había volcado. El combustible se había vertido en el agua y se podía oler, dijo un testigo. En las imágenes se puede apreciar el momento en el que tocan tierra y logran escaparse en medio de un barrio residencial. Se desconoce si fueron detenidos por las autoridades, y la embarcación fue abandonada en el lugar, junto a unos depósitos para combustible.
Yep. It's on the beach, but they come during the night. So to see one coming toward the shore at 40, 45 miles an hour and not turning, it was like a movie. It was like, and the lifeguards were sitting right there, so I thought it was a planned, staged event, but I wanted to get it on camera. And then I counted 22 people jumping off. It looked like a military exercise, you know, it looked like Marines. So then they ran by the lifeguards, waving at them, and ran up the stairs. So that's when I ran up the stairs and started filming, because I thought there would be a van waiting for all of them. No van, one car, one SUV, and then like 10 got in it, but they left the rest behind, and they just started walking toward, you know, Carlsbad.
Tadpole who's got his back legs now, when all of a sudden I looked over and there's a femur bone in the bottom of the lake at Disney World. A femur bone! What? What?
Do you think it was a turkey leg that somebody just threw in, or there's something going on at Disney World?
Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. You've got nothing to lose.
Want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started a bank run. I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzis must, we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it. Want to know why everything gets worse and more expensive? That's because we live in a secret kleptocracy. That's when the government gets taken over by con artists whose only job is to steal from the public. And I hope you know this is wonderful news, because now that the public knows about the secret kleptocracy, they get to abolish their criminal government. Follow for more, or read this booklet, and you will
Stop.
Matter, shelter in place. Shelter in place. The damn devil is outside.
This isn't normal. This is a 2024 Jeffrey Dahmer.
A comparison many are making as Sade's body parts keep turning up across Milwaukee County.
Now, it was said that this beautiful young lady went out with Mr. Maxwell for a first date, and they've been looking for pieces of her ass scattered about Milwaukee ever since.
Big son of a hurt my baby.
Sheena Scarborough did not hold back.
This sick son of a gonna pay.
Her hatred for Maxwell Anderson was evident from the moment her daughter's alleged killer walked into the courtroom. Prosecutors say Anderson and Sade Robinson went out to 2 restaurants and bars the night of April 1st, then returned to Anderson's home on South 39th Street. They say at some point that night, Anderson killed Robinson, dismembered her body, then drove her car around while he scattered the body parts in various places.
Someone who was walking the beach found a human torso and arm believed to be Sade Robinson's along this remote stretch of beach on Lake Michigan. Investigators believe the remains washed ashore. More than 2 weeks ago, someone found Robinson's severed leg. Then less than a week after that gruesome discovery, more human remains, including a foot believed to be Robinson's, were found on Milwaukee's north side. Now, back out here live, the rest of Robinson's remains are yet to be found.
Y'all, and the people say Mr. Maxwell family got money, and the police been half-assed doing the investigation, trying to get his ass off due to a technicality, not properly securing the crime scene. Y'all, I'm concerned about the fucking state of humanity, because I don't know how long we gonna be able to hold up under this damn strain.
That count before we address
questions.
Do something like this to my beautiful baby. She hurt nobody.
You see what happened?
They're bailing their boat. There's so many people on there. Wow.
Oh, and there's water going in. Look, there's people dumping water out of buckets. Yeah, they're bailing their boat. It was sinking. And there. Get that boat. It's a handmade boat.
Find that motherfucking groundhog and cook that bitch! You lying motherfucker!
Country where a man transitioned to become a woman after winning a decathlon in 1980, and then after doing so, runs over someone, kills them, runs over a second person, and 4 months later is named Woman of the Year. You live in a country where a man spends 15 months in prison for securities fraud. In a movie they make about him, he punches his wife in the stomach and then kidnaps his own child. And all of you love that movie because I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. It's The Wolf of Wall Street. You guys know who is the face of prison reform in the United States? Who is it? It's Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian, who made us is the face of prison reform. If you don't believe me, Google right now Kim Kardashian standing next to President Trump having legislation signed while she's in the Oval Office. She made a tape where she was having with Ray J, and now she's getting legislation passed, and you're worried about a meme that you're supposed to post. Status is status is status. Doesn't matter what you do. If you get more attention, no one will care. People want to make TikToks with O.J. Simpson and don't give a about what he probably did.
Not fitting to call us gods because we are chaos spirits. We are the fathers and mothers of the gods. They are our children. Right. That's called the Titans, the Typhons, the Ophidians, the Nephilims, the Nephers, the Neters, the Orishas. Has nothing to do with the heaven realm. Right. You got, look, it's simple, look, it's simple. In the book, gods, angels, demons, and gods of the new millennium, which is an awesome goddamn book by Lon Milo Duquette. You got the blue right here is the archangels. Those are the archangels. The black is the Goetia spirits, or the lower spirits, or the underworld spirits. These are the mothers and fathers that fell into a physical body. That's who we are. These are the damn archangels that's been up there bullshitting around while we've been down this motherfucker, and they've been trying to keep us down here. And they are not in unison or unity with us. They are our enemies. One sister was meditating in the park about 2 months ago. She started cussing. Fuck this shit. We surfing down this motherfucker. What the fuck going on? And what I'm saying, that's why we don't like y'all stupid motherfuckers. We hate y'all motherfuckers. That's why we trying to keep y'all down there. Y'all always talking shit. That's why we trying to keep y'all down there. So there you have it in black and white, and in reality, 2 goddamn months ago by a sister in Atlanta. And that's who I've been dealing with, and especially been dealing with the last couple of months. I'll get into that in a few minutes. This is who the fuck we are, and fuck everybody else. Fuck the world and everybody in it. That's the higher shit. That's your chthonic deities. You get the word Cthulhu, but go look in Robert Graves' Greek myths, and you'll see the word chthonic deities. Or any one of these mythology books, you'll see the word chthonic deities. Those we call the underworld deities. That's who we are. We have nothing in relationship to these punk-ass motherfuckers up here, because that's who we're going to kick in the goddamn ass. Fuck them. Fuck them motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Led by Jesus, Jesus, our mortal enemy, Jesus, which is Zeus, the one that broke away, the child that broke away and came down here and cut his father up, Kronos, cut his father up, Kronos, and put him down here. So Kronos falls from the heaven to Saturn, and from Saturn to the earth. You get the word Saturn, Kronos, which is Father Time, with the sickle in his hand. You get it? With the sickle in his hand. Father Time with the sickle in his hand, which is Saturn, which Saturn, the sign of Saturn, is in the sign of a sickle, the Grim Reaper. So the children of Kronos have sickle cells. Sickle cells.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys see this, but every day at this time, when the sun sits in a certain spot, this appears on the building across from me. See how it just went away and then it goes away? It's like, is it Hebrew? Somebody told me something. Did you see that? There, then the sun, if the sun peeks through at this hour, we get that. Does anybody know what that is? Anybody? Please drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm like, is this a message? Is it Hebrew? Is it alien? What does this mean? Is it just a coincidence? Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. Tell me what you think.
Viral.
Thank you all. I'm pleased to stand with my colleagues and other friends and great patriots that are interested in the sovereignty of America. And don't be distracted at this moment. Don't you be distracted. Let's not America be distracted by what's happening in this building or what's about to happen in this building behind us. As bad as that is, and it's bad, but as bad as that is, we can do 2 things at once. We can pay attention to the other things that are happening around the globe and in this country. And as we speak, President Biden is planning to cede the sovereignty of the United States of America to the internationalists and the World Health Organization. The ability to decide between you and your doctor what medicine you take or do not take, whether you wear a mask or not, whether you leave your home and where you go is all potentially being ceded by this President of the United States based on a signature. Subverting and disregarding the Constitution of the United States, bypassing the Senate, saying it's not a treaty, doing the exact same thing that President Obama did with the Iran nuclear deal. That was bad then, and it's a precursor. It's a warning of what might happen very, very soon. So we're gathered here today to make sure that you're all aware of what we're all aware of, that we're awake, and that we make sure that President Biden is not allowed to just sign on our behalf, and that the Senate rejects any attempt by the World Health Organization to take away our individual medical freedom, our individual choices, our choices to move about our country, our community, our homes as we please. That is literally what is at stake right now. And then be forced to pay for it without even knowing what the bill is. It is unacceptable. The fact that we even have to have this press conference is breathtaking. But every single day you wake up and you say to yourself, well, what more can it be? I can't believe what just happened. They can't do anything else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as bad as it is, and as bad as it is in dealing with this government taking away our rights every single day, just imagine how difficult it's going to be to drag our rights back away from some international organization of bureaucrats that aren't even elected, that don't care about America, don't care about our Constitution, and don't care about what we think. With that, I just urge that we do the right thing here, and I'll turn it back over to our Speaker.
Before this was Dulles International Airport, it was the village of Willard, Virginia. Louis Jett can explain every inch of what the town that once stood here represented.
This whole 8 to 10 acres is all Willard. This is Willard.
And he's kept every single memory stowed away in this binder that he dons on weekly. Jett says it was an all-black town full of life.
The government sent my father and mother a letter saying our land was condemned. The date was September 1958, and we had to be gone by September 1958.
He says they were paid a little over $8,000 for their two-story house that his dad built himself and their land. And now this history will be displayed in an exhibit where it once stood tall and proud. Alexis Wainwright, WUSA 9.
That set itself on fire was basically saying that like crypto is the biggest Ponzi scheme ever, and that the government is finna send us all into like a fucked up situation. If you ain't seen the last video I just made, and then the one I made before that about all Americans need to watch this, I got a white shirt on sitting outside, go watch both of them and then come back. But see, in his manifesto, the dude that burnt himself up, he had a lot of points that was on, but all I say is this: I don't think that they're trying to destroy everything. I think that everything's gonna get fucked up because nobody's trying to fix it. And see, from a motherfucker that's like, if you living in this shit and you mentally and emotionally already fucked up and stressed out and shit, you ain't gonna be able to see it clear. You have to rise above the puzzle, look down on it, then you can see the way out. You know what I'm saying? Because with vision comes clarity. So from where I'm sitting, like, I live in this shit, but I'm not tripping off this shit. I've been watching it for a long time, and I've been in crypto for a while. What I done noticed is that I don't think that they're going to destroy the world intentionally. I think that the world, anytime a shift happens, it's chaos. I don't care what you're doing. If you adjust something that has been sitting in the same spot for a long time, it's gonna be chaos. You lift a rock up, all the bugs gonna get to moving. You fucking kick over an anthill, shit go crazy. When we moved from the world before the internet, when in the early 2000s, when we made that jump into the internet, bruh, shit was fucking wild. We had the housing market crashed off of a bunch of other shit. Like, shit went fucking crazy. And then when you look at the early 1900s, when we went from whatever the fuck this was, the Industrial Revolution, shit was crazy. Every time the economies evolve, whether it's technological advancement, but anytime the economy evolves forward or the infrastructure of the economy moves forward, there's always chaos because the current is disrupted for something new. And like we know, most humans don't like change because they don't know themselves beyond their physicality. So to keep the body and keep things the same means to be safe and comfortable, or to know who you are. But because most people can't understand, they don't know how to live with the feeling of not knowing who they are and actually go investigate that in here beyond material creation, that fucks with them. So every time we evolve, for better or for worse, people lose their fucking minds. That happens. Now, when you take all that into account, what I think is going on is that they're not fixing this system. Other countries aren't worrying about their shit either. Matter of fact, what's really going on is that people are tired of America. When Joe Biden sanctioned Russia, he gave them everything that they needed to kick that shit off. BRICS had already been in motion since 2013 and 12 and around that time. BlackRock and the politicians that have been telling you to stay away from crypto in general, but specifically Bitcoin, because they know that's all you know. They've been buying all the shit up since 2019 and 2020. And they've been telling you to stay away from crypto in general since then. They don't like like CBDCs, but what they're moving towards is a goddamn CBDC because they know that this country and every other country is moving towards a digital fucking economy. First one to it, it's gonna be the first one to win. But see, the difference is other countries aren't like failing and fucked up because they fucked up. They've always been failing and fucked up mainly because of us. So they come together to combat with each other to be the first one to a digital economy with their own digital dollar that would be tied to gold or Bitcoin. By doing that, you can kick the US dollar out of its position because it's already losing value. It's lost 22% of its fucking value and spending power in 2 years, and they know that. So when your country spend its whole life bullying and fucking over shit, all it takes is everybody to come to the last 2 countries to join BRICS. Who you think it'll be? It's probably be the one above us and underneath us. They won't do it now though. But the goal is that's why shit's happening so fast and it's a lot going on because the process has been sped up. Things, you know what I'm saying? Since them sanctions, COVID, everybody learning about the blockchain, it's happening because they're not telling you what they're doing, but what they're doing is setting up the fucking world we're gonna live in 2030, 35, and on after that. Just like they was setting up the world we was living in 2012, they was setting that shit up in 1990, 1989. You just didn't know about it to the end because you were so distracted, mentally and emotionally fucked up. Your life is fucked up. You stay like that for 20 years and you all fucked up so you can't see clearly. Then 20 years later, they give you some crumbs and you so happy for the crumbs that you less fucked up. But you still distracted because you distracted with your comfortability. I've been fucked up for so many years, at least I'm comfortable. So you stay like that for another 10 years. Now you've been distracted for 30 years. One day you wake up 30 years later, you're like, oh God, the stock market and internet stocks and all, let me invest. But now it's too late. You invest your money and you fucking lose. You didn't make shit in the stock market. By the time you start learning financial literacy and figuring out what you should have did, you already 20 years late to when you should have been doing it. But the only people that didn't miss any of those opportunities before the Industrial Revolution, before the early 2000s, was motherfuckers who wasn't fucked up, who was mentally and emotionally balanced and was paying attention and able to see, but not be so caught up. They were able to go through turmoil, go through all of that shit, good or bad, but not let it determine how they are. Those people were able to see behind all the bullshit and actually jump on opportunities like investing in steel before goddamn the Industrial Revolution, investing in tech stocks before the early 2000s. So that's what I think they're doing. Shit's gonna hit the fan because they're not gonna fix this shit. They're not gonna fix this economy because why would they fix something when they could just go on, move forward to the new shit, beat the other countries to it behind the scenes, let this shit get bad. You ain't gonna be investing in nothing because you're gonna be distracted because you so fucked up. So 10 years later, they set it up. You starving like a motherfucker. Your world's on fire. And then they say, here goes some more crumbs. Now they done set it up for 10 years and got positioned in it for 10 years. Then 10 more years after that, they're going to be even more richer, and I will, and the other people who was into the shit will. But by the time you calm down and the economy get good and you can feed your family and all of that, and you finally relax and get a place of balance mentally, emotionally, and you say, oh, blockchain, crypto, tokenization, I could buy Amazon token, oh my God. By the time you start actually getting into the shit to change your life, you missed it. You missed it by 20 fucking years. And that's the plan. They not gonna let the world burn because they in this motherfucker. They just gonna make sure that your ass burn and not them. And by the time you stop burning, well, bitches, it's too late to do that other thing you was trying to do. What it was, get rich or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, Buddy Manifesto is actually, man, look, the shit get deep, but I don't want to go too far like, I don't know, conspiracy shit, because I don't really know a lot. I'm just trying to speak on what I've seen through articles, research, and just following the news of what the fuck motherfuckers is saying and what they not saying. But yeah, that's what's finna happen. It's not that crypto is a Ponzi scheme, but they know we are literally racing the entire fucking world to be the first to blockchain technology. Because if we don't, America's power as leadership in running this country because of the dollar, oh, that shit's over with. We're literally fighting for our fucking life right now. If BRICS builds the first digital economy based around the blockchain, if they beat us to that, it's over. If we beat them to that, oh, it's over. And whoever get there first, gonna be running, like I said in my other 2 videos, gonna be running this shit for another 80, to 100 years, just like every system. So yeah, shit is gonna get bad, but it's only gonna get bad because they're not gonna fix this. And also, people don't know about what I just said, so people aren't gonna position themselves by investing in the right shit, buying shit, studying shit, because they're too fucked up mentally and emotionally. That's how they want you. They don't want you calm and perceptive. They want you hysterical and panicky. Yeah, because most of y'all would be drowning in the ocean and wouldn't be able to calm down to let the lifeguard save your life to save your life. And they know that. And that's the goal. So now, I don't think it's a Ponzi scheme. I think that's what they want us to think about the blockchain and cryptocurrency and all of the new emerging technologies in Web3 and in that space. And they might want us to think that because that's gonna be your life at some point. And if you focus on it now, shit, too many people might get rich and buy the right shit and hold some shit for 10 years and wake up in 15 years and be a fucking billionaire. We don't need too many more of them. They don't want that. So now in 20 years, a lot of people's story gonna be, man, I made my wealth from 2022 and 24 and shit like that. And the other half gonna be, yeah, from 2020 to goddamn 2030, I was looped it in the bitch, going crazy up here, and I damn near offed myself. And then from 2030 to 2040, shit, I was just relaxing and chilling. Then in 2040, I found out about crypto and got into it, and now I'm finna get rich. Yeah, I bet you is. 20 years late to the party. The world done changed. I'm rich. They rich. Shit, and you back wherever the fuck you was in your best era in this system right now. While you was either panicking about starving or being happy to have crumbs, they was changing the world around you. And you missed your chance to change your life and actually maybe gain resources that could help you change the world. Because you could probably do a lot of good for the world if you got $100 billion off of fucking crypto. I don't know. But that's not going to happen for a lot of people because, like I said, most people is going to spend their time stressed out and fucked up as this shit gets worse. Then they're going to spend the other half of the time celebrating having crumbs. And by the time it's over, you missed it.
The thing about Sedona is that we know that there are vortexes. Now, what is a vortex and how do you know that you're even on a vortex? So, you know you're on a vortex when you see a tree like this. Ordinarily in nature, you never see trees growing in this kind of a pattern. They grow in the spiral pattern because the energy is very strong. And it's causing the tree to react in this kind of pattern and grow in a spiral. And if you know anything about the meaning of a spiral, you know that spiral means life force, energy. When you come to a vortex, it's the best place to meditate. If you see a sign like this, you stop, sit down, take it in, and let the messages flow.
Apple is the worst fruit that ever was made.
Really?
Beside kiwi. Pineapple was made from scratch. Pineapple would eat up your stomach.
See these openings on this map where they tell us that all Antarctica-bound expeditions must be authorized by the operator's own country or the vessel's flag state, where heavy fines can result from non-authorized visits to Antarctica. Would you like to see the openings in our map? A massive operation shut this down in the mid-1900s. And now, we have further evidence of this. Again, I do believe that all of this information is here for us to find it. I think this is all available to us. As long as this is something that we want to know. It's all very clear. The more truth that you know, it all makes more and more sense. And it all lines up. Exactly how the truth always does. While a lie is all over the place. I've said this before, but I do think it's possible that they are waiting to see who can find this information. They've left it out there for those that look. Now let's take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all awesome, and we are growing to a bigger and bigger audience every single week. We are also on Rumble, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Now the word medieval, in my eyes, is another word for the old world. They explain the narrative away by simply calling it medieval. So let's remember this going forward. Right on their website, the Hereford Cathedral tells us that the medieval cathedral was not monastic. They even tell us that the map that they hold inside this place, the map that we discussed today, is one of the world's unique medieval treasures. Our timeline starts around 1700 and then spikes in the 1800s with massive operations going on in the 1800s. All in my opinion, of course, based on everything that we have seen. But this is why I always check the 1800s for major destruction projects of these incredible palaces. Oh, wait, did I say destruction? I meant restoration. When you go to the mid-1800s yet again, we have the exact same narrative here. 1841 to 1863, major restoration of the cathedral. A cathedral that did not need our help. In fact, we weren't even given the power tool until 1895. So what major renovations could our horse and wagon friends have truly done to this palace? Do you think it's possible that they removed things that did not fit into our mainstream timeline? Before we go into the bonus, I'm going to show you this, how I don't believe that the Mappa Mundi has always been here at this location. I believe that it was put here when we are told the only complete world map of its kind to have survived, a fascinating pictorial encyclopedia of the medieval world, where it may have been, it might have been, maybe, but the mainstream narrative is of course iffy on that. It might have been made for the Hereford Cathedral, and has been here for most of its life. Most of its life. Not all of its life? Where was it before? Who really made this map? Why was the other one bombed? This is extremely interesting stuff, especially when this is all on their website. And in my opinion, an admission that this was not theirs. This was not there in that palace for its whole life. They even call it medieval, and they have now taken possession of it. Oh, in 1786, the west tower of the cathedral just collapses overnight on Easter Monday. Just random, of course. Do we think that that was random? You tell me. Clearly a palace from the old world. And just for fun, let's show the repeating names. Robert of Lorraine, Robert de Botton, 4 more Roberts buried here. And then we have 2 Thomases with 3 more Thomases buried there. And we can't leave out a couple Hughes thrown in back to back. Now for the bonus. Located at 651 Main Street, Buffalo, New York. Opening in 1877. We have the Dr. Ray V. Pierce Palace Hotel, where this gets wild. We've talked about energy here on this channel. How these buildings hold energy, but this gets deep. The place was half hotel, half hospital, where the baths and gymnasiums on the campus were known nationwide for their healing and restorative powers. A healing hotel. Where is this why a lot of the old world buildings have been destroyed? Because they held healing powers for all of us. Where 2 presidents were frequent visitors. Pierce's Palace Hotel was open only 4 years before it burned down in 1881. And are we right or what? Is this not a nod? I'm not joking. Every time I see this narrative, I am more and more surprised. For one, that we never noticed this before. And for 2, that they really put this in the narrative over and over and over, all over the world. And we know here that that building was much older than just 4 years. And you can see what I'm talking about with all of these fires when we just flip over to the St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica in London, Ontario, and see that they just throw this into the narrative as a nod to their group for future generations, in my opinion, to recognize which buildings are from the previous civilization, where it says that there were multiple churches on this location. The first one was destroyed in the London fire, 1845, and a larger frame church was built. But this church also burned down in 1850, 5 years later. And we have a whole series about this nod called The Fire Games. It's all in a playlist, which includes episode 68 and episode 69. So now let's get back to this Pierce's Hotel. After that fire that we just showed, in 1881, Pierce opened his Invalids Hotel and Surgical Institute on the 600 block of Main Street, which survived until 1941, where things begin to get interesting. The beginning of the end for the Pierce's Invalids Hotel and Surgical Institute likely came to an end in 1939 when the Federal Trade Commission included this cease and desist order in a stipulation. They were basically no longer allowed to call themselves doctors or medical men. They were no longer able to give medical advice. Not being able to call themselves doctors or call their advice medical advice must have been a lethal blow a little over a year later, where in my opinion, this was the end of this old world medicine, old world healing powers coming to an end when on August 1st, 1941, the Invalids Hotel and Surgical Institute discontinued operations, and Pierce, the one that had this knowledge of old world healings, passes away. And 2 years after that, 1944, Kane announced that they would be destroying all of the Pierce's estate's glass work.
Is this O negative? I said O positive. It's intern season here at the Illuminati, and as expected, there's a bit of a learning curve. No. You put the name of the person in the description of the Wayfair product, then you set the price at $10,000. Thankfully, some of what we do is pretty straightforward.
Just turn this dial. Boom, tsunami in Idaho.
We do maintain a very rigorous and thorough hiring process. If hired, what ideas could you bring to the table here at the Illuminati?
What if I told you that the Zodiac Killer was actually Ted Cruz?
Keep talking. Patience is key during this portion of the fiscal year.
Boss, send those nukes to North Dakota like you asked.
North Dakota. I said North Korea. Oh my God. What I want the youngsters to understand is learning to control the universe is a process. This doesn't happen overnight. You send a new set of contacts to Stevie Wonder?
I thought Stevie Wonder was blind.
Idiots. What? I thought the same thing about Helen Keller. Team building is a critical part of what we do to make the new hires feel comfortable.
My fun fact is I volunteer as a chemtrail pilot on the weekends.
Oh, very boring. While our workforce is always evolving, it is important that we continue some of our favorite office traditions. All right, the next war is between Russia and...
Come on, baby.
Madagascar.
Yeah, I'm taking that one again.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that again. It's not a good idea.
I also find it a bit coincidental that as soon as Niger asks the United States to get out of their country and leave their soil, ISIS, which is, we all know, an arm of the United States and literally is the United States' project all over the world for countries they want to invade, decides to attack Niger's military and kill dozens of people. This was a failed coup by the United States. The United States literally cannot stand that Niger asked them to leave. And if you guys want any proof, here's a conference from today where they literally said Africa is not merely important, it is essential for their technological advances that the United States has. But I'm gonna let y'all listen to the full thing.
Challenges to democratic governance and order continue to occur across the Sahel, complicating our relations with key partners.
Africa is not merely important, it is essential. African partnerships are critical for the Department of Defense to maintain its technological edge, accomplish its geopolitical and strategic objectives, and power our futures.
Did y'all hear that? It's not important for Africa to have American presence. It is important that the United States has their presence in Africa because it is important for the technological advances and the future of America that the United States be there. Their disrespect is so blatant. Literally, the reason they want to be in Niger is because Niger's largest natural resource is uranium, and they need that.